Welcome to Community Conversation. I'm Michael Witch for LMC Media, and our guest today is a photographer who's got an exhibit in Larchmont Library right now called Octopus under Patmos. And I'd like to welcome Jeff Eyrich to our station here. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks, Mike.
I see octopus pictures in the background there. Is that a special setup you brought to this show?
No, these are just some of my favorites from years past that I have blown up, very large scale black and white that I have hanging here in my kitchen.
In your kitchen. Well, tell me about the show at the gallery. First of all, it's running until I think through February rather.
Yeah, it runs through the end of this month, and it's a collection of let's say the best of the photos that I took on my last trip to Patmos, which was September and October of last year, 2022. And
go on.
Yeah, so it's a collection of those photos. Yeah.
And for those people who don't know where Patmos is, and I didn't until I visited the exhibit, tell us about it.
Patmos is a Greek island. It's in the southeasternmost island group called Dodokinesis. Other islands in that group include Rhodes, Kos, Samos. Maybe people are a little bit more familiar. And the next big island you get to if you go south is Crete. So it's way down there. It's way over, just miles from the coast of Turkey, and so that's where Patmos is. So
you've been doing this yearly for, I think the gallery note said 37 years.
Yes. Yeah. This year it'll be going on 38. Yeah.
How did you get started?
Well, I got started taking photos underwater a little bit by accident. I needed to get a new camera. I wanted to get a digital camera. I was over at Costco one day and I noticed, wow, they have waterproof cameras. You can actually take them in the water, and which I got one of those. And when I'm on Patmos, I have a little boat there, and I always go out diving and exploring on the reefs and stuff like that, and taking pictures. One day I took a picture and I didn't know what the hell it was. It was something that was under a rock. I brought it, showed it to my friend George, who has a restaurant there on Patmos, and I said, "What is this?" He says, "That's an octopus." I go, "Oh my God, I had no idea." And ever since that time, then I started seeing octopus all the time because they always stay hidden and they're very hard to see. But as the years go by, I get better and better at it. And there's little things that kind of tell me that, hey, there might be an octopus in there. But usually I have to take away a couple of little rocks and then I'll see an eye in there. And then it's a whole song and dance to try to get them to come out of their hole and take me on a little tour of their neighborhood so I can take pictures of them.
Wow. The first thing that came to my mind when I visited the gallery was the documentary, My Octopus Teacher.
Yes. That was inspiring. Yeah.
And you've touched an interesting topic, because all the copies of that book that you recommended that people read are checked out. And so are the copies in the Mamaroneck Library. They're all checked out, and I'm number 13 on the waiting list.
Oh, that's great. It's a great book. It's interesting to me that there's so few books written about octopus. And you're talking about Sai's book, right? I think that's the one.
Yes, he wrote a book called The Soul of an Octopus.
Yeah, she takes a very personal, almost, I don't want to say non-scientific, but less scientific approach. A lot of just personal anecdotes about her experiences and people's experiences who work in aquariums with octopus. My thing is a little different though, because I'm out there where they live. So I'm visiting their world. They're not stuck in a tank somewhere in an aquarium. So it's more of a challenge, but it's also more interesting. And I'm always aware of the fact that I'm in their world. So yeah.
They're an interesting animal. First of all, they're a cephalopod. I think I have the word right.
Cephalopod, that's correct.
And they've got 8 arms, not tentacles, arms, as
that's correct.
Told. And they are intelligent, right?
There's something that goes with those 8 arms too. They have 9 brains. So all of those arms can act, and I see them independently. There's one central brain, but they also have there's a central, there's brains in each of their 8 arms. Yeah. So for instance, when I'm up close, and I don't use a zoom, so the distances you see in those photos are the real distances. When I'm up close, not only do I see them changing color depending on where they're going, because they change color instantaneously, and it's remarkable to watch that. But also they're reaching with this arm, and they're reaching with this arm, and they're kind of anticipating where they're going to go next. And it's just really interesting. Cephalopods supposedly are of the family of like snails, which you never, but my feeling is when I'm with an octopus, there's an incredible amount of intelligence, curiosity. There's something more going on. And I think actually the documentary pointed that out. There's something there and when there's always that moment for me, and sometimes it takes a while. I can be up and down for an hour before they actually come out, and when they come out of their hiding place, it's just amazing the way they unfurl, and then they just start moving around, and I'm sitting there following them, taking pictures. It's really an amazing experience.
So they must have trusted you.
I feel like they do. I feel like they perceive that I'm not aggressive. First of all, I make no aggressive moves. I feel that they perceive that there's no aggression here, and that maybe it's okay. I'm really sorry about that. I don't know how to stop it. But I don't know. That's totally based on my perception, and that could be wishful thinking on my part. But yeah, I feel like that's the process, that they're in their hole. I can't go and get them. They do at some point decide, oh, maybe this guy's okay, I'm going to go out. So
did you, and this may sound wacky, but did you get the sense that they were kind of posing for you?
I always feel that way, but I don't think so. I think, I mean, I've taken thousands of photos of octopus over the year, and there are particular kind of movements. They'll grab onto a big round rock, and they'll do this thing where they'll kind of like stand up, where it looks like they'll actually almost walk along the floor of the ocean or the sea. And so I think that they have a number of different moves. Maybe they're defensive, I don't know. Yeah, so I don't want to say that they're posing, but let's say I try to capture interesting views of the octopus.
Okay, so my last question is, what have you taken away from all these years of photographing octopuses?
That they're an incredible animal. It's a shame they have such a short lifespan. They only 2 to 3 years is how long they live, because I feel like there's a lot of intelligence going on there. And were they an animal that lived a longer life, there would probably be octopus societies, under the ocean or in the sea. My feeling is, and this isn't just me, but I feel like they're as smart as dogs. I mean, it really bothers me and hurts me that most people, their relationship to an octopus is on a dinner table. It's really because of the experiences I've had. It's really hard for me to justify that. And I have a lot of friends on Patmos who are fishermen, and I ask them, please don't catch the octopus. Just let him go back. Take anything else you want, but just leave the octopus. And yeah. So
are they endangered in that area?
Formally, the Greeks will not say that, but every year I find it harder and harder. I find fewer and fewer, and of the Greeks, and this is no slam with the Greeks, because they've been doing it since as long they live there. That's their place. They can do what they want. But I feel like they they should just let it rest for a year, not catch so many octopus, just let them repopulate a little bit. Unfortunately, the fishermen have learned really ingenious ways that I also employ to find octopus. I mean, there's certain kind of tells that will tell me, oh, there's probably an octopus here or somewhere around this area. So luckily they stay in more shallow water. So, fishing boats aren't usually going to go in that close. I'm really sorry. Fishing boats aren't going to really go in that close. And, so.
Well, I love this conversation. And for anyone who has not visited the gallery, please do so. It's in Larchmont Library. It's the Oarsman Gallery. It's downstairs. And you'll see, I think there are 25 or so large prints of a most amazing animal. Jeff, thank you so much for spending this time with us.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much.